This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Bruchim Abam, welcome everyone to a special edition of All Parsha, Parshas V'Eschanan. Little secret, my favorite Parsha, my Bar Mitzvah Parsha, has Shema, it has the Aseret HaDibros. It's the Parsha right after Tisha B'Av. We weren't allowed to learn on Tisha B'Av. The Avodas HaKodesh says, therefore, right after we have Kabbalas HaTorah, we have a new commitment to the Torah. Let us begin. This is the Ben La'ashri, Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Huberman on Parshas V'Eschanan. The Ben La'ashri is bothered. Isn't it a wonder? Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest prophet who ever lived. He certainly knew his tefillos were not going to be accepted, so why did he bother so much? Furthermore, the Torah is eternal. Why would the Torah write and record all of these pressurings and entreaties that Moshe Rabbeinu made, and it wasn't accepted? It was not accepted. Says the Ben La'ashri that it's coming to teach how to serve Hashem as manazeh, because some mock the arrangement of tefillah, that we daven the same tefillah again and again and again and again. If the tefillah is going to be accepted, it should be accepted the first time. If it's not going to be accepted, it should never be accepted. Why do we keep on repeating the same tefillah? The answer is, we learned from Moshe Rabbeinu that even though Moshe Rabbeinu knew, he knew absolutely that his tefillah would not be listened to. Nevertheless, he kept on davening 515 tefillahs begematria v'eschanan. From here we learn that if a tefillah is not accepted for the purpose that it was offered, it will certainly be accepted in a different vein and in a different area, and Hashem will apply it where you really need it. From here we see that a tefillah that is not accepted now will be accepted elsewhere. And therefore it is very important to daven every day. Even though we don't see that the tefillah helps, as Chazal say, that one should always daven before the tzara. So, because what tefillah before the tzara is more accepted than once the person's already in the tzara. Now, we're not always aware when before the tzara is, so Hashem could sometimes apply tefillos we've offered to such a situation. And this is what we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. In fact, the Ben La'ashri teaches us that there was a distress later on in history, in the times of the Navi Yoel, where the Navi cried out in Parak Beis, Pasuk Yud Aleph, Ki Gadol Yoim Hashem v'noira ma'oid u'mi yichilenu, day of God is fearsome. And the Navi continues, V'gam ata, and also now, Hashem says to do tshuva. What's also now? It should say now. So the Ben La'ashri suggests that the tefillah of Moshe Rabbeinu that preceded it, it was effective, that the tefillah the tshuva that they did now should be accepted. In fact, the Ben La'ashri offers an amazing remez, the Rashi and Soifei Tevos of the words, V'eschanan el Hashem ba'es hahi leimar, with the word itself, meaning the Rashi and Soifei Tevos of these words, plus adding each word, is Gematria Oihev Yisrael Trufa. The lover of Israel, namely Moshe Rabbeinu, offered the medication before the distress for the times of Yoel. The remaining letters are Gematria Tav Kuf Tzadi Gimel, which stands for Bara Trufa Koidem Tzara. God created the medication before He created the Tzara. So this is what we learn from the increasement of tefillah Moshe Rabbeinu offered, that these tefillahs were not for naught, but they were applied for future situations. Now, we move on to offering number 2. Va'eschanan el Hashem ba'es hahi leimar. The Mefarshim are medakdek, what do you mean leimar? And I beseeched Hashem, at that time leimar, Rashi says that Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hashem, I want you to let me know whether you're going to answer me or not. However, the Ben La'ashri says an amazing idea. The Arizal teaches us in the Shar HaMitzvahs and the Shar Ruach HaKodesh that whenever names of God are alluded to, or names of angels, we're not allowed to mention them, we can only think them. And the Ben La'ashri reads the pasuk as follows. The word ba'es, ace is 470. The Svarim teach us, the Arizal teaches us, 470 is very significant. It's 10 times Yud Kei Vav Kei plus 10 times Ekia. Yud Kei Vav Kei 26 times 10 is 260. Ekiyat 21 times 10 is 210. 260, 210, 470. Va'es chanan el Hashem ba'es. I besieged Hashem ba'es, with the holy names of God. However, Leimar could be read loy, loimar. Not to say, I didn't say it, I only had it in mind. This is a remez to the teaching of the Arizal, that Shemos should not be verbalized, but merely thought. Okay, we move on. Rashi says, why did I daven then? Dimisi, Rashi says, literally that means, I thought that because I conquered Ever Layarden, Eretz Sichon and Oig, maybe my neder was, maybe the neder of Hashem, that I would not go into Eretz Yisrael, maybe Hashem was mater that neder. And the Ben La'ashri quotes the question of the Ezor Eliyahu, who asks, that if the neder was hutar, then why did Moshe have to daven? Mimanav shach. If Hashem made a neder, then tefillah is not going to help. And if Hashem didn't make a neder, then why? If the neder, was hutar, if it was nullified, then why is Moshe Rabbeinu davening so much? So the Ben Lashri interprets that the word dimisi could mean not just I thought, but I got a hint. Like Moshe, like the Gemara Nivama says on Daf Mem Tes, that Moshe Rabbeinu prophesied b'asbaklaria hameira. Not like other Nevi'im whose clarity of Nevuah was not as clear as Moshe Rabbeinu. However, there were times that Moshe Rabbeinu got a hint. For example, in Kisisa, Va'ata hanichali, Hashem said, okay, leave me alone. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't davening, he wasn't bothering God. Why is God saying, leave me alone? That was a remez that Moshe could daven and abolish the decree. Ooh, therefore Moshe Rabbeinu said, I thought that Hashem, by conquering Sichon and Oig, is being merames to me, just like when Hashem said, Va'ata hanichali, okay, leave me alone, don't daven, that if I daven it helps. That was a remez that I could daven. Here too, when Hashem conquered Sichon and Oig, what Hashem was hinting to me is that through tefillah, He would allow and consider being matering the neder. Va'es chanan el Hashem ba'isa hi leimar, va'yomer Hashem elai ravlach. The Medrash Tanchuma says, this is a reference to the pasuk in Mishlei, Tachanunim yedaber rosh, v'asher ya'aneh azos. Tachanunim yedaber rosh is Moshe, v'asher ya'aneh azos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered harshly. By the way, the Baal HaTurim points out that every other word of this pasuk, the Seifei Tevois spell out Moshe. Tachanunim Rosh Ya'aneh Seifei Tevois Moshe. The Ben Lashri quotes an incredible thing from the Yehudi HaKadosh, that from heaven they darshan from the Medrash Tanchuma that he should be megala the kavana of the pasuk Asher Yana Azos. Why is Hashem the Asher Yana Azos? And the Yehudi HaKadosh revealed that Moshe Rabbeinu's request was he wanted to be Mashiach. And Hashem said, Rav Lach. Rav is 202. If you combine the word Rav with Azos, which is 483, you get 685. That spells out Boyaz and Rus. In other words, Hashem was saying, Moshe, Rav Lach, you won't be Mashiach, but we'll add Rav to Azos, and it will produce Boyaz and Rus, who will come from you, and you will at least be the progenitor of Mashiach. Offering number 5. Va'es chanan el Hashem. Rashi Tevois Vav Aleph Yud 17. Toiv. Va'es hahi leimar. Rashi Tevois Hevel. Moshe, we know, came from the Toiv of Hevel. Moshe was davening, Hashem, let me go into the Holy Land. Toiv Hevel. Va'es chanan el Hashem. Rashi Tevois Toiv. Va'es hahi leimar. Rashi Tevois Hevel. Okay. Offering number 6. Va'es chanan el Hashem ba'es hahi leimar. What time? What does Moshe mean? I davened to Hashem ba'es at that time. What was that time? So he says we could explain based on the Divrei Yaakov in Parshas Vayetze, when the pasuk says Loi eis he asef hamikneh hashku hatzainu l'churu'u. If it's not time to gather in the sheep, if it's not yet time for Mashiach, at the very least, hashku hatzainu l'churu'u, at the very least Hashem provide parnasa for Klal Yisrael. So we could say the same thing over here. El Hashem. El is 31, Hashem is 26, 57. That's Gematria Zon. Ba'es Hahi. Hahi is a time which is unidentified, a time of Nistar. Meaning, at a time of Hahi, if you don't want to bring the Mashiach, and it's going to be a time of Hester Panim, El Hashem, at least be Zon Klal Yisrael, at least be Mefarnes Klal Yisrael. Like, Eloi Eis Heyasef HaMikneh, at the very least, Hashku Hatzayin L'Churu'u. If it's Ba'es Hahi, if it's a time of Nistar, at least it should be Keil Hashem 57. Now, another interpretation, Ba'es Hahi Leimar Hashem Elokim, where Moshe is davening Ba'es Hahi at the time of the Galus. Please Hashem, Hashem Elokim. We want, even in the Midas Elokim, in what appears to be Midas Hadin, Klal Yisrael should see that it becomes Batal, and underlying, it is really Rachamim, and they should recognize the Shem Havaya in even what is apparently Elokim HaTeva. And then one final offering, a Medrash Pliya. Hashem says, I called you Elokim, Re'ei Nesaticha Elokim Leparoi, and you want to go into Eretz Yisrael? You're already Elokim. What's the meaning of this mysterious Medrash? Says the Holy Ben La'ashri. The Gemara in Saita is bothered. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu want to go into Eretz Yisrael? What, to eat the fruits? However, we know, based on the Gemara Ksubas Kuf Yud, that Hadar be'Eretz Yisrael doime k'mi sheyesh la Eloka, v'Hadar b'chutz Eretz doime k'mi she'ein la Eloka. That only someone who lives in Eretz Yisrael has Elokim. So Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael because he wanted it to be doime k'mi sheyesh la Elokim. Hashem said, I already called you Elokim. You're already Elokim. You already have that midah. You already have that mailah. You don't need to go into Eretz Yisrael to be Ki'ilu yesh la Eloka. I already said, Re'ei Nesaticha Elokim Leparai. Okay, wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos Nachamu, an amazing Tu B'Av. Lo hayu yamim tovim liYisrael keTu B'Av. May we be zocheh to Yeshuas v'nachamas lanu u'l'chol Yisrael. Amen.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.